Welcome back to Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw. With me today are my co-hosts, Matthew Aguilar and Janelle Wheeler. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
What
Good
up?
morning.
We are proud to say that once again, this episode is sponsored by Global Comics. Global Comics gives you over 100,000 comics for basically the price of one comic book. If you hit that gold subscription, you will get access to many publishers, many titles to read online, or if you want to own, you can own them often at a discounted price. So check out Global Comics. And as always, to give you particular features of the service, we got Matt's pick of the week. Matt, what do you have for us this week?
Well, I got two picks. So one, we're going to go with a book we've actually talked about on the show before, and one that's going to play a big part in DC's upcoming slate. That is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. James Gunn's new movie will just be titled Supergirl, but it is definitely taking a lot of inspiration from this book, and it is one that is available. You can read the entire storyline as part of Global Comics' Gold program, and jump right in. Heartily recommend. Is one of my favorite DC books.
Seconded.
In general, but like favorite comics, like in general. I love that book so much. So that is one. The other, if you're looking for something a little different, something in the sci-fi, even a little bit of that tokusatsu range, then Radiant Black is a series that I have adored. It is part of the Massive Verse over with Image Comics, and it is a book that you can actually read almost the entire series as part of Gold, and it is the core book. Now, of course, that's spun off into other books, Inferno Girl, Red is one, Rogue Sun, all these other great books, but it all started with Radiant Black. So I could not recommend that book more. It has been fantastic. Always does what you're not expecting. So between those two, got a lot to love in comics.
Yep, and if you are a comic fan who wants to read the most books from publishers all across the comic spectrum, be sure to check out Global Comics. That is Global and Comics with an X. Get your gold membership started and read away, and then jump back on here so we can talk with you guys every week about all this stuff, because we actually do this. So that's Global Comics. And for our show this week, you guessed it, we are going to be talking about Marvel Zombies. We got game-changing episode of Peacemaker. We got to discuss the end of Alien Earth happened, and we got to get into that. That's a debate. Plus, did I already say Marvel Zombies? I believe I did. Jen B even
saying it.
was off this week. It was crazy. I was all talking trash about how the last week of September is like this trash week for media, where everybody gets ready for the Halloween thing. It's like comics dump like some lazy stuff usually. Like it's like kind of like
annual,
but
time.
Like this year it popped off. And yeah, guys, I because I love all of you and I try to do this job seriously, I got my CinemaNation hat on and I went to see one battle after another. So I'll give you the skinny on that. All right, so we're going to start with we'll get into the spoiler stuff in a little bit. We also had some geek news to talk about. So let's get through all that. And first, Janelle.
Yeah.
What's going on with DCU?
Yeah. Well, we have more James Gunn being James Gunn and chatting. And I love that. He went on a podcast and he has a lot to say about his universe and everything on the slate. So James Gunn reveals that the DCU timeline plan is not going to be something that is 100% sticking to the original Gods and Monsters structure. He said a lot of different things, but we know this firsthand because he is doing the follow-up for Superman with Man of Tomorrow in, I think it's July 2027. And that wasn't originally announced in his first iteration of this plan. His quote was, "It's like a decade. This is how long it's going to last. Maybe a little less. It's very loose," he says. "You have to be careful because there were certain projects that were part of the plan, because my other rule is that I'm not going to greenlight anything without having a screenplay that I love," which I totally agree with that. "And there were other things that I haven't worked yet." So there are other titles that we haven't actually gotten any confirmation on what's happening, like Waller, The Brave and the Bold, The Authority. And I'm not mad at this. Like, he's basically just saying, hey, we're going with the flow. we're going to do what feels right for us. And he needs to feel really confident in anything that they are releasing for the DCU. And obviously we can go on and on. There's so much to say. Like this article that you sent me, there is just a million things to touch on. What are your initial thoughts when you hear this, you guys? Are you happy about this?
I've always thought this is the way. Like the Mandalorian. I'm not going to hold
This
you
is
as a
the
long
way.
topic. I always think this is the way.
I love
Like,
that.
people say all these plans, they have all these structures, but again, like, not to date myself, not to be the old man in the room, but I was here since phase 1 of Marvel, since Iron Man. I saw how that evolved. I saw how originally they were like, we're going to get big filmmakers to make big films. We're going to get the famous people. They're going to, and they're going to create these huge blockbuster films for us. And it's all going to be in the Marvel universe. But then, Joe Johnston had his own ideas. Kenneth Branagh had his own ideas. They looked at somebody like Louis Leterrier, who did Incredible Hulk, and they're like, yeah, no, more like that. Like, more like a company man who's just going to crank us out like a competent, movie, but kind of be able to bend more to what we want, to what Feige wants, not have to go to war with Feige because they're their own more experienced director. And that's when you started to get the Russos in there, James Gunn in there, who at the time was still just kind of doing indie movies, his own kind of like all his own kind of crazy low budget movies. So they started getting these new directors. They tried Alan Taylor from Game of Thrones to give him a shot. Didn't work out so well with Thor: The Dark World, but they tried. So they shifted. They had to kind of start reassessing like how to build this universe. And I'm sure there were projects, and I can't think off the top of my head. Oh, like Edgar Wright's Ant-Man, like, was supposed to be a thing, right? For a long time. Like, that was a huge thing that went on for years. So like, you do have to shift the plans. And if there's anything I think Marvel has learned, is what happens when the pendulum shifts too far the other way, when you're just all shifting plans and there's no like firm plan, is where we are at now. So I think Gunn has learned those lessons and is smart to say it's both. Like, we have a structure, but obviously if I didn't have like another Superman movie in the bucket, but my Superman movie is huge and everybody's like, I want to see more of these characters, what are you going to do? No, I have a plan. You're going to have to wait till my plan's done. It's like, no. Like, yeah, shift the plan. Rewrite. Perfection's in revision. Just, you got to balance both. So I think this is the smarter way to do it. And I think, in general, we should just stop announcing big slates. Because that was just... Has that ever worked? Have we ever announced a big slate and, like, perfectly gone from beginning of it to the end with, like, everything? With, release dates being the same, everything.
No idea.
Because I don't even think Marvel's done that. Like, I think even some release dates had to shift or something. Like, it's nuts. So
I feel like it's just important to like give grace to these like studios and to the movement. I would much rather have things change up and it be quality content and stuff that I love than sticking to some weird plan and stuff not working and feeling so let down and bummed out by things that I was super hyped for. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just don't say anything. When people ask you what's next on the slate, wait and see. Go see the movies. Go watch the TV show. You'll find out. Like, that's all you need to say.
Because otherwise we get, Dark Universe.
But it's like on us as fans,
R.I.P.
y'all. Like, as fans, we all just need to be more chill out. Like, when plans change, like, cool. Roll with it.
Yeah, just take the ride. Take the ride. Rock and roll.
Plans changing is a parent's life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, now that I'm a parent,
it's just a manner of life. It's a lifestyle. That's all it is. You're just dealing with whatever change of plans happened in the last 20 minutes as the day goes on.
That was so wise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all you get as a parent. And like, yeah,
you get 20 minutes of feeling okay. And then
I literally tell my wife when she leaves in the day, she's like, "Are you good?" Or like, "I'm going to the office. I have to be at the office today." I'm like, "I'm good. I got everything set." Like, I'll be just ready for work and all the effery that happens. I'm good for all of it today. Like, whatever effery happens.
It's true.
Yeah. I'm ready for the effery. You're good, babe. Like, whatever happens, I'll tuck and roll, we'll handle it.
So we all need to treat our fandoms as like we're parents to them, I guess.
Yeah. We do. Like, just be patient, guys. Just just wait and see. Don't do the "are we there yet?" Just we'll see when we get there.
That's
Maybe
true.
our Airbnb will be a murder house. Maybe it's going to be fancier than we think.
Oh my
Always
god!
that last.
Dark.
Don't get
It's
scared
taking
on that
dark
last
turn.
mile
Somebody's
of
ready
road.
for spooky season.
Okay,
Yeah,
dark turn.
don't get scared on that last mile of road. And if you've ever been Airbnb, you know what I'm talking about. Don't get scared about that last mile of road. It'll work out, maybe. All right, so hey, Zach Schmidt over on Facebook. Oh man, we got another post-sale troll. Man, this has been like a year, my guy. Like you guys still talking about you didn't know we were a podcast. Where you been for a year, bro? But shout out to Zach Schmidt. We are still here. We are still podcasting. Comic Book Nation. What up? Matt, let's go over to the Marvel side real quick. We had an interesting little leaky leak this week.
Yeah, we talked about a wrap gift last week. Well, hey, we've seen the wrap gift, and but I wonder if this changes. Like, I feel like this year, like wrap gifts and things like that, I wonder if this changes the methodology there. Like, hey, we ain't giving anybody anything until after the movie's out. You're getting a post-movie wrap gift, because we got one here revealed for Avengers Doomsday. It was a makeup artist, Giovanna Ponzi, I hope I said that correctly, posted a picture of the wrap gift on Instagram, and it has kind of this, what is best described as a like Brady Bunch style collage of a lot of the characters from the movie. And what's crazy is they're all actually sporting costumes that seem directly pulled from Doomsday. And the reason we know that is because like most of the costumes are pretty in line with what you would think, slight tweaks or whatever, or straight up look like they looked like in Fantastic Four for Steps. But then there's a couple in here that, for the X-Men fans in the room, there's one in particular. Let's be honest. There's one costume, a certain Cyclops, that pops because it's straight up classic 90s blue, yellow, whatever you call the belt thing.
Bandolier.
The bandolier wears over his chest. I never knew what that was called. I always just knew it was Cyclops' thing. That was Cyclops.
Yeah, I had to learn later in life, but it's a bandolier. He just wears it that way.
He just wears
He's
it that
badass.
way.
Yeah.
And so that we are getting that look again. We don't know 100%, but this does really seem indicative that we are going to get that look.
I cannot confirm or deny possibly having seen bigger concept art concepts of this that have also leaked around the internet, and they were put together because they correlate almost 1-to-1 to everything we are seeing here for the new costumes. Yeah. So there are actual concept art ones out, and I cannot confirm nor deny that I saw, yes, the full Cyclops concept of James Marsden in this Cyclops outfit. And, it is, to quote the great Eric Lensher, perfection. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, even if this movie sucks, I don't think it will. But even if this movie sucks, there's going to be a part of me that will always be thankful to the Russos for giving me. We have been wanting that stupid costume for over a decade in the movies, and they just refused, right? They were like, and the Wolverine costume, look, we finally got that on the screen after being, trolled for years. Now we're going to get Cyclops. I don't even care if he dies in 5 minutes. I don't care. I just, the fact that we're going to get that on screen for 5 minutes is awesome. That is cool.
And to the chat, to Juden Foster over on YouTube, I totally am an amateur and forgot to put the Wolverine game into this, which was, just one of the biggest news items of the week. But my buddy Matt's always on top of it. So as part of Matt's agenda, at the end of the show, we will definitely discuss the Wolverine trailer. All right, that's the Wolverine video game trailer, but Matt's on top of it. All right, so yeah, you can go around the internet and check those out, those costume leaks for Doomsday. Yeah, the X-Men part, I'm very happy about. Over on the other Marvel side, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse has changed release dates again. It is now going to be coming out on June 18th, 2017, which, if you guys have not been watching the 3-card Monty with this, I think it's very interesting because I've had one big question about it. And even though they keep saying that it won't be connected to Secret Wars, I don't believe that. I don't believe you. Now this movie's coming out before Secret Wars. It's coming out in June. Secret Wars comes out in December. And yeah, I think... oh my God. Comic book. Matthew Aguilar. Oh my God, this is you. I am editing your piece in real time. You need to change this. You have Beyond Spider-Verse is now releasing in theaters on June 18th, 2017, which also happens to be 2017, bro. Oh my God. Like real-time edits. My other job here at ComicBook.com currently is editor, so I gotta edit this and that. But I was so confused. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, so 2027.
I did it
Yeah,
just to make sure everyone's paying attention.
Yeah.
I think
That's a good
totally. I think it's
today's just off the
going to
rails,
be-
huh?
Yeah, I think
Everybody
it's
just
totally
put it up.
going to
Cheers.
be totally going to be that disconnects, and I hope it does, because I want a proper Secret Wars. I want something that's bigger than Endgame, and I want to see everything from all these multiverse shenanigans that we've been put through to just all come together and get wrapped up together. And we all want Secret Wars to end with the X-Men and Miles in the MCU. You know it. We know it. Don't play in my face. That's it. Okay. This has been more of a threat than a news story. But all right. Anybody else have any strong feelings about Beyond the Spider-Verse?
You really think here's the thing. I want that to happen. I don't know if Sony does. That gets Sony. That gets murky, doesn't it? It gets murky because we're talking about live action and we're talking about like, man, that doesn't, because don't they own Miles as a character as part of the Spider-Man deal?
I don't even feel comfortable saying that.
I mean, that's the whole, we're going to talk about Marvel Zombies later, right? I mean, there's a whole thing behind that too, of like why it was a TV show and why it wasn't a movie and all these other things. Man, that gets murky with like,
look,
which
Disney needs
characters
to muscle up and just muscle on Sony. If Sony won't give up Spider-Man, just eat all of Sony. Absorb all of Sony. I mean, what are we doing? If Skydance is about to eat Warner Brothers, like, why is Sony still even a thing? Like, just make TV shut up and give us the studio.
Hey, PlayStation. I want PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm saying make games, make TVs, make hardware, shut up, get out of the production game.
Just a lie.
Disney eat up your Disney eat up the library. I mean, it's not crazy. Could you imagine what Disney would do with some of the library, all these adventure films that Sony makes? Like, what if Disney's Uncharted had come out? Come on. Like, what are we talking here? Like, what are we doing? So just eat the whole studio if they won't give you Spider-Man. Bob, make a move. Just eat the whole thing. Eat it all.
Yes, we want more mergers.
What are we? Yeah, are we going back to the
Paramount thing?
Do you look at the world and think we're going back to the mom and pop thing, bro? We watching shows where boy Cavaliers talk about trillionaires. Like, we are about on the verge of the first $1 trillion company within the next like 3 years. Like, yeah, just let Disney eat up Sony. All I want to do is see a full Spider-Man movie before I die. Like, I have small wants on my bucket list. Just come on. Anyway, this got way darker than it should have. So, to alleviate that darkness, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about one battle after another, the feel-good movie of the year.
I was going to say, great segment.
And then Alien Earth and Marvel Zombies and Peacemaker. This is all going to get really, really feel good. So stay tuned. So, Paul Thomas Anderson, director of such hits as Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood, more recently, things like Mystic Pizza, is back with a new movie called One Battle After Another, and there has been big buzz around this movie, without it ever really fully telling you what the movie is about. But that's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. And so I went to go see One Battle After Another last night. It is because we didn't have a screening here in Nashville, but which was an undertaking because it is a 3-hour movie. And somebody made the joke. I was watching other interviews that I don't think Leo DiCaprio gets off the couch anymore unless it's a 3-hour movie, which could be very true. Like I honestly don't remember the last time he made something that was like under 2.5, 3 hours. But the man makes cinema, and I could tell you, like, yeah, Leo's like just, I mean, is like the greatest actor of his generation. Like, it's crazy how good this man is on screen. And this movie is one of his funniest roles because it's also like one of his more oddly restrained. He's just this kind of pothead, bubbling ex-revolutionary father trying to raise this daughter that, you know, has this complicated kind of political legal history because his wife, who's played also kind of breakout role from Tiana Taylor, was a revolutionary and got, you know, in big trouble with the government. And so they're actually after him and all the members of this leftist extremist group that, you know, did all this stuff. And Sean Penn, who also, oh my God, no. Oh, whew. Sean Penn, who is probably up for an Oscar himself for this film, is also crazy hilarious as this Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, which is, I mean, if you can't guess, this is a satire. It's kind of a socio-political satire, and as only Paul Thomas Anderson could do it. And Sean Penn's just hilarious as this kind of ultra right-wing kind of militant general who's hunting down Leo's character and his daughter. Yeah, this is 3 hours in. This movie is nuts because it is this quirky, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson. It's like long scenes with this quirky, like weird idiosyncratic music playing, these awesome kind of gorgeous sequences that he shoots like nobody else, whether you're watching like There Will Be Blood or The Master or like whatever it is. But this movie is actually, as the advertisements would say, is like a Paul Thomas Anderson version of an action movie, which is like from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, it's just essentially one long chase scene, which is incredible on its own. Like it just like, yeah, it starts off with like the revolutionaries doing something that causes something, and the rest of it is them looking over their backs while, you know, this guy is coming after them relentlessly and the government's coming after them relentlessly, and they have to just basically get out of one situation and then to another and then out of that situation and to another. And it's almost like a horror movie in that way, like a slasher movie, but done in the Paul Thomas Anderson idiosyncratic, weird kind of way. But like I said, fantastic performances, you know, Oscar considerations all around for Leo, for Sean Penn, for Tiana Taylor, for the Chase Infinity, this kind of breakout young actress that plays Leo's daughter in this. Yeah, and just gorgeously shot. Like I said, Paul Thomas Anderson, weird, funny, and does that thing that Paul Thomas Anderson does, which is to feel like he's saying some very profound things without saying about in an Americana kind of way, without saying anything at all directly. Like you have to kind of look at the images, look at what's happening, and kind of infer a lot about this from the context. But obviously, this has a lot to do with politics, with race, with kind of just America, the extremist things we believe versus the realities of how messy we all are together living in this country, and in the way that even though we put on these faces of we are this or that or the other, like in reality, we are human beings that interact, that cross over, who have messy feelings, that, you know, do all these things. And it's never this black and white thing we pretend it's to be. And so quite literally, this movie says that, like, you know, it's never this black and white thing that we pretend it to be. And so, yeah, it's another Paul Thomas Anderson film. Man's just working on a brilliant just body of work at this point, just dissecting America. And this is dissecting America right now. Very clearly dissecting America right at this moment. It's not like The Master or There Will Be Blood, where he goes back into the history of the country and like all these things that have happened, but like this is right now. So all around, and again, not heavy-handed, not direct, just you see the images, you see the situations, and you're like, huh, that makes you go, huh. Fantastic performances. So if you are part of CinemaNation, you got to check this one out because we're going to be talking around Oscars time. So yeah, go check that out. All right, that's my spiel. That's the only time you hear me talk that long today. Now we got to get back into it. TV time. Guys, what a week of TV we just had. Not for the faint of heart in any kind of way, but exciting all around. Marvel Zombies, to me, had no business being as good as it was. I love horror. I love superheroes. And this was perfect for me. Like 4 episodes, each half an hour, basically a big 2-hour movie. And everything I would want from a zombie survival, like from a zombie survival movie. Like, yeah. I like what they did with the characters. I like kind of seeing MCU favorites kind of getting remixed into these positions. I like the action. I like the gore. And yeah, it kept me on the edge of my seat. But that was just me. How'd you guys feel?
Not hopeful. I can I just say, like, I loved this so much. This is going to be on my Halloween viewing list forever going forward. I'm just mad about this. I love the animation of What If, and so like this definitely made me really happy. I loved that we got a tease of the zombies in What If, and now we get like the full blown, Wanda has taken over all of this, mind control of zombies. I love their zombies. I love that their zombies are fast and talented fighters and they can learn like Thanos is learning, and they're zombies, but they're just scary. Like they're so capable.
They still have their powers, which was gnarly.
Yeah.
Like half of Captain America is still
that scene's
that's
nuts.
so crazy.
What a deadly.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
Absolutely. And I just really honestly, I loved it, but like, oh my God, it is so sad. like the ending, like there's no happy ending. Like Marvel, Disney, thank you for not marveling or Disneying it. It's not great. Like it ends and you're like, oh no, like that's how you're gonna end it. I'm obviously
That's 2
not
in a
gonna
row,
spoil
by
it.
the way.
What?
Between Ironheart and Marvel Zombies. That's 2 in a row. We're like, oh, wait, you went there. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But
Judy
we're not
Foster.
spoiling, right?
Oh yeah, we are. Judy
Oh, okay.
Foster in the comments is right though. DC has to do Deceased now. We got him.
Deceased is the better one. To me, night and day. It's not even close. Like between the 2 zombie stories, Deceased is like in a league all by its own, all on its own. So like, but in agreeing with Janelle and you, and the fact that like I would love Deceased in this style. I'm cool. Like, but give me Deceased story and the characters and all that stuff that I think that does so well. And I didn't like What If's animation. So call me pleasantly surprised. Well, okay, let me start here. I agree with y'all. I had a low bar. And that's because honestly, Marvel Zombies is not one of my favorite things. Like it's just never, even in the comics, whatever. It never really, I just didn't care. It was a lot of that. It wasn't till Deceased put its spin on that I really like, okay, I'm invested and stuff. And even like oh my gosh, World War V, I've really enjoyed more than Marvel Zombies. So the DC
Avengers
side of zombie stuff, I just dig more. So I came in with very low expectations, and that first episode, I did not know how much I needed a Blade Moon Knight till that happened, and then I went, oh my gosh, which
I was thinking of you with that. I was like, oh my God,
just fantastic. And our boy Mahershala finally got to be Blade and son.
Yeah,
Got to finally be Blade,
and
he killed it.
One.
And he killed it. Oh my God,
good.
So yeah, like that whole, just I mean, the scenes with him alone, just darting and like moving around with the sword and like the conscious, like they did such a good job. I thought they brought out kind of the best parts of this animation style here, whereas I didn't think they hit those highs in What If. So I will stand corrected. I enjoyed this animation style. I was kind of hard on it and with What If, but I dig it if you're gonna do this. If you're gonna go this hard and have some of the stylish sequences that this can really achieve that, right? Even some of the Shang-Chi stuff was awesome. The way they made the rings they integrated those. So I watched this, like I binged this. I was pissed too because I got to episode 3. I finished episode 3 and then just life hit, and I had to wait a little bit until I could get to episode 4. I was like, no,
I was like the other way. I was like, I wish I didn't binge this because I would have loved to have dragged this out over October.
No, I had to get through it. I was like, oh man.
Okay, so here's the thing. I like the 4-episode format. That was just enough for me.
Miniseries was good.
I know
long
I'm
movie.
I know I'm different.
Movie.
Just like every single hero and villain in it was just highlighted.
Well, that's what I want to go. I know there was a mix of returning actors and actual vocal actors, but I got to give it up, and I don't think enough people are giving it up. That like people like Florence Pugh and David Harbour, like they came in, and Iman Vellani, was that Iman Vellani as Kamala?
I got to double check.
You have to double check. I wasn't sure. I couldn't.
She
I don't
was
know
fantastic.
her.
If it wasn't Iman, fantastic. And if it was,
but they all like the vocal cast of this like did bring their game. Like those scenes were, in spoilers because we are talking. Well, and I'm not gonna spoil everything because I know some people haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But like some of those scenes where we're losing people and people are going, like the cast did their thing. They really acted that out, and like they made those characters feel like we were in the MCU and like that they were real, and like it was Iman Vellani. Yeah, it was Iman Vellani. Of course it was.
Wow.
It was her, Dominique, and Haley. They all three of them were
Dominique.
Condon. Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I love that. Number one, I know I was one of the highest on Ironheart overall. It was so nice though to I thought she was used. Like I wanted her more in here. I wanted
that wasn't Mahershala.
No, I know.
It was Todd Williams. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the voice. It was just the feel. It was like
they got his likeness. Yeah.
But like they made him. He looks exactly.
Mahershala pissed. Mahershala's somewhere pissed though. Let's be honest.
I know. I didn't even get the voice.
You're like y'all just took my likeness and just That's
so. What's his only thing, right? His only filmed thing was Eternals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he did film that. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't just somebody else.
Vocal thing. Yeah, but everybody else is good. Like, Randall Park, Awkwafina, and Simu Liu is back. They did like all those ones that were the people. They did really good. Like their acting and the vocal acting was good. And the makers of the show were also really good at, like you said, Matt, like kind of high. Like Brian Andrews, Zeb Wells, like they know these characters and they did cool stuff that they were able to do that we haven't seen in the MCU. Like Kamala really was the MVP. Like by the end of this, you would believe that Kamala is the one who would last the longest because of how she learns to use her powers and what she can do. Like so many like little dope things. Like she makes a huge cleaver and then so she can push through and like just cut them through the whole thing.
Powers look divider.
Yeah, they were like, look, bro, if we're doing this, let's just steal the Green Lantern stuff. Like
they really did make her a Green Lantern.
Why beat around the bush anymore? Like we're just stealing Green Lantern. Like let's just go. But I mean, that was the best use of her powers. She's never been cooler than like in this show, right? And you would believe like, she would be the final girl because of how she stands up. But they were just great. Every sequence, every episode really took the lore and made it into something terrifying. Like, we've seen Namor and I forget what they call Atlantis in this now, Talokan or whatever it is, but not like this. Like when you do it like this, 10 times more terrifying, right? So like, and even just everywhere we went, everything we did, you were never like without like a sense of real palpitation and fear, in fear of these characters, being zombified, but still having their intelligence, their skill sets, their power sets. Like that Battle of the Gods thing was insane. Like in that first episode, And just the visuals of this, the direction, like it was on the scale of like an epic horror movie. And yeah, man. Like, okay, we're getting into this deep, but like I said, this had no business being as good as it was. But here we are.
I can't remember where I saw it in the comments. I saw it where it was recommended that this could be, oh yeah, Zach G, an annual release. I wouldn't hate that.
No, neither would I. Or some kind of. Oh, but I didn't put this in a. I completely screwed up this entry on the show notes. I didn't put in a trailer. Sorry, Rich. And I also did not put in my talking point. I left it blank. But my talking point in this was, and I'm going to write it because I think I went to go start an article about this, and I don't think I did that either. Good for me. Was this is just more proof positive that Marvel Studios has really dropped the ball on this horror lane of the franchise. Like everything we've seen from this between Werewolf by Night and this, it's like, yeah, you guys really should have leaned into this. Like every October, we should have been leaning into this, like with more of this flavor.
Also, the Doctor Strange film should have been spooky and scary. Yeah. I'm so sad.
Full on. Yeah, it's full
on. Also, Doctor Strange wasn't in this. It made me sad.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, actually.
I know, it was weird.
The cloak was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It implied, he got taken out, and Paul Rudd's head had the cloak. Yeah, that's
yeah.
All right. Well, that's Marvel Zombies. Go check that out on Disney Plus. That was a good time. I'm going to rewatch that as we get closer to Halloween because, it is very rewatchable, and I'm going to enjoy it. All right. Let's talk about something a little bit more divisive and complicated. Alien Earth ended this week. A lot of chatter. For you guys, the question is simple. Did this land the ship, or did we go crashing? Did we go full circle and crash land back on Earth? What did you guys think? Because you guys aren't like huge alien heads, so you guys are just kind of coming at this as a TV show.
There was just a lot. It was just a lot in like one episode. Like it was a little overwhelming as far as like, yes, they threw like this everything at the end. Like they didn't need to, in my opinion. There were several times throughout it that I was like, oh, okay, that's the end. Nope, that's not the end. And then they're ending it. Nope, they're not ending it here.
That's so true.
Yeah, but like, it's okay because I enjoyed it. I feel like I don't know where they're going to go from here. I'm very confused by it. Are they just going to like stay on an island for the whole next season? Like, is the alien going to go out into other areas of the world? Are our kids going to go to the other parts of the world? I don't know. I'm very like, I'm just left going, I don't know where we're going here, but I'm along for the ride, like it's so beautiful. It's perfectly directed and it's artistic and gorgeous to watch. It's scary. And I hate the boy genius. So anytime he's like in trouble, I'm good. I absolutely hate it. Also, I'm just totally freaked out about humanity because I totally watched a podcast about how like AI is going to kill us by 2030. So,
Well, they don't know that.
On par.
Anybody who's saying that doesn't know. The whole thing is we're about to enter. You see, there was several kind of key points in human development. One of them was the development of fire, obviously. The other one was the beginning of the atomic age with World War II, which changed everything. And now we're at another flashpoint in humanity, which is the artificial intelligence kind of supremacy. But the thing is, we don't know which way that's going to go. That's what Asimov was writing about, all those years ago. That's what kind of iRobot and the entire robot series is about. It's about the fact that robots could look at us and say, we are not going to harm these people. They're probably going to eliminate themselves by a certain point. Or they might try to intervene and either
save us
for the sake of the planet, get us out of here, or be like, let us step in and solve a lot of these problems because you guys are idiots. And AI, I mean, look at what's happening with Grok. We're getting off topic, but like Grok on Twitter, right? Like people say nuts stuff on Twitter and now people just go at Grok and Grok will be like, actually, no. Like, no, the thing you just said is crazy. And here's like a bunch of facts. And so like, we might get to the end of this misinformation age. This could all get swept out in 2 years. because there will be something we'll just be like, look, bro, we're asking, Chat GPT, what's the real thing here? And Chat GPT be like, idiot humans, here's what you need to do. And then like, if we're now arguing with machines, I mean, what are we saying now? Yeah, like, yeah, we all have opinions, but this thing is actually analyzing things objectively. Like, what are we saying now? So it's going to change everything, like how we debate, how we think, and it could be bad, it could be good. We're in the Schrodinger's cat box right now. This has been Science Nation. Thank you. And thank you for coming to my.
It was very well said, though.
Thank you for coming to my Cove Talk.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Cove Talk. I love it.
This
yeah.
episode
Thank you for coming to my
wild.
Cove Talk. Yeah, well, let's get back on thing. But this is, I mean, to be fair, this is what the good thing I like about this show is. It's taking Alien out of just this horror visceral experience, and now we're talking about all this, right? Like we're talking about AI and machines and bio experimentation and corporations and mega corporations and all this stuff that's very real around us right now that this show is playing with. I am with Zach G over on YouTube in the chat. Like, as a season 1 finale, I wasn't thrilled with this when I first watched it. Like, and not knowing if we have season 2 now, this is either going to be a good bridge to a season 2 or one of the worst cliffhangers for a single season show ever. So we'll find out. But I think what is interesting to me, and I know we're kind of dissecting this in the editorial section of our site, is that the Peter Pan thing, right? Like, what I understood this episode and why it is a culmination, because when you go back over the series and take out the flashback episode, it's the story of kind of babies kind of growing up, right? When these kids get into these hybrid bodies, they're essentially infants. They got to learn how to walk again, talk again, and be in these new bodies as if it's the first time they're born. They're reborn. Every episode, Howley kind of does this clever thing where we're dealing with another stage of maturation as these kids are beginning to learn about these bodies they're in. And this, obviously, the finale is, you guessed it, it's teenage rebellion time. This is when now they've gotten past the kid stage, the fantasy stage. They're looking at their parents cynically, and they're like, everything you tell us to do, we're not doing it. We're going to rebel. And that's what this is. This is the teenage rebellion. So ostensibly, season 2 would be, learning as teenagers that, like, yeah, you can jump into situations, but, like most teenagers, your primary job is trying to kill yourself because you think you're smart, but you just aren't smart enough to deal with the real world yet. And then you get in your 20s, 30, it goes from there. So, I mean, ostensibly, I would assume next season would be these kids learning. Yeah, it's a little bit harder than just saying, now we rule, and how do you control this, and what is the rest of the world doing? Because they leave the island isolated, right? Utani cuts it off so they could invade, and that's still all in place, but then the kids take over. So nobody knows what's going on out here, but there are all these lingering questions. Like, the eye is still lurking around. Like, does it go out in the world, or does it go right back into the facility and try to get Boy, or try to get a ship, or try to get like whatever it needs to get the hell out of here? Yeah, and there's a lot of other questions. So I think I need to know that there's a season 2. But even if there's not, I think this show has done enough to really expand alien lore in a way that even if this is just some one-off, non-continuity experiment, the rest of these films should learn a couple things from this and take it into account. Like, we need an alien film with a cyborg protagonist who can actually survive and go up against a bunch of xenomorphs and make it more compelling. That would be dope. Other monsters out there, other things like, other corporations and conflicting interests and saboteurs and all this other stuff we could do. So I hope the franchise learns from it. To John Smith on YouTube, I don't keep up with TV ratings because I don't even know how to measure them anymore. So I never know. Like, the streaming ratings get all kind of wonky to me. But I just try to go by the buzz online. And this show has caused a buzz, whether it's people arguing in the alien Reddits or people loving it and saying this is intriguing, or the Eye becoming its own star. Yeah, I mean, it's at least getting talked about. Matt, you've been kind of quiet over there, and I noticed that. So what are you doing?
No, as a season finale, wasn't my favorite. I didn't think it was okay. It was good. As a season 2 hype machine, I think it was really good. But again, that kind of depends on if they can take some of these ideas, especially, right kind of where we leave things off. If they can actually take some of that, because like right now, like the other creatures and the xenomorph, all that stuff, that all felt, number one, unresolved, and two, like they're purposefully put in places to where like, oh man, I can't wait to see like what does that mean for the next chapter of them. But again, I don't know that if this ends season 1, and if I were to just watch it to completion and go like, oh, there's no season 2, I would be disappointed. Like it didn't land as like that kind of thrilling ending chapter that been, oh man, like I want to go rewatch it. Like I don't want to go rewatch it.
I want to rewatch several episodes. Like I'd watch episode 5 a lot, like the flashback episode, which is its own little alien movie. Like I'd
now,
watch
granted,
that
too, that is the difference between like this is also like that Alien is super fringe on my genre of things.
Same.
I'm not someone who's like gonna go watch that anyway. So that's not even against Alien. That's just against like that's just not typically not my cup of tea. So that's not like quality. I'm just saying it doesn't make me want to then go back and go like, oh, I want to see what I missed. To me, that's a lot of times that's what a good season finale does too. It sets up the next season, but it also gets you kind of wanting to reflect and like, oh, I want to go back and watch that because like, man, it leaves me like I want to watch more of it. Yeah. I didn't have that with the season 1 finale, but
would you recommend it though? Like you wouldn't rewatch it, but you totally recommend it.
Absolutely. And especially to someone who is more of an Alien person than me. I would be like, do you like science fiction? Do you like horror?
Like even if you're not into Alien, like us,
oh no,
I would totally recommend it.
Oh, I would say you have to also, if you're a fan of Alien, rewatch this. Like if we're watching the trailer on the live show right now, and when you go back and watch the show, you realize how brilliant Noah Hawley actually is. Like the very first image of Marcy before she becomes Wendy is her staring at the scorpion and her being sympathetic to the scorpion, and Kurtz being like, do you want to kill it? And her being like, no. Like here's the image again. And where you think where this season ends up, it's like, oh yeah, like Guy had a handle on this from the very beginning, like who this character was, why she would make the choices she would, and how she looks at the world and looks at things. She's the girl who loves scorpions. And so, her bonding with the xenomorph by the end, not all that surprising. So, I would say definitely go rewatch it because there's so much you will notice that now that you know the whole thing, that you in like all the twists that you will see in the characters, in the story, in the foreshadowing, in the setup, that you're like, oh yeah, this was really tight. Like this was a tight story. All right. But we need to see something more from it. Now let's talk about Peacemaker. Oh man. So Peacemaker season 2, episode 6. This was the first one that nobody has seen. I think the screeners were only for episodes 1 through 5. I didn't even watch them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we are now, nobody knows what's coming up in Peacemaker now. So this episode, and now we know why from this episode. Not only was it the kind of big twist that we all knew that this was essentially like the DCU version of Earth X. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Peacemaker. Yeah, wait. If anybody has not seen Peacemaker yet, it's almost impossible for us to talk about this episode without saying some very significant things. So drop off now if you're on the live show. If you are listening to this recorded, give us like 5 to 8 minutes and fast forward, because we are going to talk about Peacemaker. And literally there's no way to talk about this episode without saying some very significant things. So spoiler alert, we're talking Peacemaker season 2, episode 6. Full spoilers. Drop off now, mute, do whatever you got to do. As long as you see the Peacemaker trailer playing, we're probably not safe. All right. So yes, this is basically the DCU version of Earth X, where the Nazis conquered America and won World War II, or at this version, at least, they, Blue Dragon, the top trio, help kind of fulfill the white nationalist agenda and at least conquer America. That's what we know so far. And I like this twist, and I think we're going to write about it because we've discussed it. We saw it early on. We were discussing it. We spotted it. But again, I think like the characters in the show, for everybody who gets it just from this episode, I think the more brilliant thing James Gunn has done is sell us all on this version of this perfect world and not have us notice for at least an episode or so however long it took you, that this is what it was, which is a big mind screw and says like a lot about us and society and how things are presented on media and stuff like that, which is brilliant. So kudos to James Gunn for that. The end of this episode, like I wasn't joking, I've posted it on Twitter and in our comic book forums where we're discussing the episode. I did have fever dreams last night from seeing ads in that last scene and just being like, yeah, that is some triggering thing for if you're an African American. If you've ever been into a all white rave or something like that, you know, it could be very triggering, those little things. But that was brilliant. That kind of This Is America ode to Donald Glover and all that. And that video is going to get a lot of play today. Yeah, but more than that, this episode just had other great things in it, right? We had a nice Superman cameo, which I didn't think they would do. That was big. Like Gunn's cooking. Yeah, that was good. And some great dialogue there. And of course we had Adrian, which was, you know, as a key to all of this, having Adrian be the key to this kind of reveal in the best way possible. Yeah, that was hilarious. What'd you guys think?
You know,
Matt, I've been going first on every single one, so I want to hear what you have to say first.
So yes, number one, the fact that we got Superman in here and the whole, this is not going to be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is not going to be like, hey, we're just distancing our show from here and they can't mingle in the same universe and we're only going to do that like once here and then we're going to forget about it. That's nice. It's nice to see synergy, and we already got that in the first episode, right, with the Justice Gang and all that. But like the fact that like we're actually getting that is cool. Like that just shows a confidence, number one, but also I think like that shows like, hey, we're actually going to be blending these properties and not just say it, because there's a lot of saying that, and it happens in the Marvel universe too, like even just outside of S.H.I.E.L.D., like some of the TV stuff. So like I just like that it's not muddy. We're actually just getting that crossover, like, hey, this is all in the same universe. It's cool. Then on top of that, I love that if we're gonna tackle Earth X, which is a great concept to tackle, like that's been explored both in comics and in TV, because this was also part of the Arrowverse. You're gonna do it like I there are a few people that I trust more to explore that and get the most out of it, understand like the human parts of it, than Gunn. I just think like James Gunn is someone who like understands, and as we see in this episode and like all the different ways they're tackling this world and how everyone is reacting to it in real time. And then also you have Chris as this kind of, there's so many more layers for him as far as like emotionally and stuff, and now he's confronted with, oh, of course, this the world the world that would just openly accept the way we do things is a terrible place. I love the Adrian stuff. I think that was so smart for them to make him kind of, you know, because like the Freedom Fighters are a group in the comics that are typically, yeah, the Sons of Liberty, but like the Freedom Fighters in the comics are the ones that like are kind of the rebellions. Uncle Sam leads them, right? Phantom Lady, all that stuff. So like you have some cool concepts there. And he's like the embodiment, Uncle Sam, for those who know, like the embodiment of the American spirit in the comics. So like, obviously, I don't think we're going to get, I don't know, Gunn's the one who might just pull Uncle Sam out.
You never know. We have to meet the leadership of the Sons of Liberty, and it could be Uncle Sam. It could be
Uncle Sam. That'd be amazing. But yeah, I dug this. Like, this was what we suspected. But again, sometimes that's okay. And if it's executed well, and I think it was executed very well here, we're good. That's not a bad thing. I'm good for things lining up where they should. But again, I think the Adrian stuff, because obviously Vigilante is not part of that group in the comics and all that, I think that switches it up and makes it personal for Peacemaker and all that. So I really liked this. I thought this was well done.
Zach G has an interesting theory. Zach G over on YouTube, that because did you guys watch the preview of the next episodes?
I did not.
At the end of every these on HBO Max, if you go after the credits, there's always a preview of the next episodes, and they show who they go to meet, who Lex sends them to meet, and all you see is a big guy in an orange jumpsuit, and he talks, but you don't see who it is, and everybody was wondering who this could be, and it looks like it's a white guy, so it doesn't look like it's Bloodsport like Idris Elba. It looks like, and Zach G thinks it could be Daniel Craig's Sergeant Rock, which be interesting.
Ooh, that's
That'd
how
be
you
very
bring Sergeant
interesting.
Rock in. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be very interesting to see it send Sergeant Rock after Peacemaker. Like that'd be an interesting little way to backdoor,
Ooh.
into that Sergeant Rock property. So we know they wanted to do that, but it got kind of moved. But it also ties into Creature Commandos and GI Robot, which we need more GI Robot right now.
Yes, we do.
Need GI Robot.
100%.
That's afraid. I shared that on Twitter. They're like, if we get a GI live action GI Robot cameo in this, like by the end of this season, that'd be amazing. Because who else would you send through that portal to go handle this? He'd be a kid in a candy store in Earth X. He would just be lighting it up. But all right. But like, yeah, Gunn's done it. I mean, this is like Matt said, this is the synergy between the cinematic universe and the TV spinoffs that we want to see. And it didn't take an effort. I'm sure Nicholas Hoult came in and knocked that out in one day because they were filming these together. Superman was filming as Peacemaker was. So I'm sure they got Frank Grillo and Nicholas Hoult just had to do a costume switch and go knock that scene out. But you put that on the back burner and you throw it in the TV show later, and here we are. And that synergy is great. So this is for Dream Thresh on Twitch. This is the Peacemaker TV show you can stream on HBO Max. It's not a movie, but it is a TV series.
It might as well be a movie. It's cinematic.
Yeah, it is. It looks great. It looks great.
A lot of these shows have been like, I am so happy to say that I think so far all three of the shows we've talked about feel like little movies.
Yeah, I mean, and even like DC has done well. Like Penguin looked great and just won some Emmys. And Peacemaker looks great, and they don't ever feel like they're low budget TV things, and not too much of that sound stage green screen stuff either. So kudos to James Gunn for keeping this up, and we got to protect ads at all costs. All right, so let's talk about the other thing that may have come in a little more muted just because the other things that were out this week were major events, and this was just an episode of TV that still was significant in the development. That was Gen V, where we got the kind of big reveal about who Cypher is and what he can do. Yeah, interesting. So Cypher is essentially like, who would this be in Marvel? Like Mirage, somebody like that? Like who has that power of kind of like possession? Oh, the Purple Man or something like that.
Yeah, Purple Man.
Yeah, he's the Purple Man.
Kilgrave.
Yeah, so Cypher's the Purple Man. I thought he was Mr. Sinister. I was so wrong. He's actually the Purple Man. So, yeah, interesting reveal. I think the bigger thing for me was beginning to see why Marie Moreau is possibly, the real goat of the soups and her power and what she can do. We begin to get some of that. I love the Star Wars references. There were some great pop culture references this week in these shows, from the Spider-Man meme and Peacemaker to the Yoda, the continuous like, yo, but Yoda, back off, like, between Cypher and Marie, which was great. But yeah, interesting. Gen V continues to be one of those shows that's like, I think Matt said it best, like not the top of my queue every week, but every time I started, I'm back in with these characters in this world, and I'm like, oh, these are interesting developments. So yeah, this was a good episode and kind of had that thrill. And Hamish Linklater is just, he kills it. This guy is such a good actor. Although, again, like we've been saying, the boys universe every week, they gotta do something. Like, I'm not a prude by any means at all. Not a prude by any means. That said, never in my life again do I need the upshot view of a toilet and somebody's gooch as they are sitting down to do their business. Like, I don't get offended often, but like, I was like, come on, man. Like, they're just more specifically, they're just more portions of a man that should never see the light of anybody's vision. And that is one of those things. Okay. Like, come on. Like,
guys, I'm being really honest. Like, I'm out on this one. I was like, I covered the first two, and now I'm done. Like, unless you like force me, I have to watch it. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not into it.
What did it for you? What happened?
Like, the boys had such an awesome moment for me at like a certain stage in my life. and I was just so into it. But Gen V never really like
Oh, man.
gripped me in the same way. Like I didn't,
No, that's fair.
and
That's fair.
so it's just been. It's not. I'm never gonna say it's a slog because it's well done. Like it's such a good show, but like it's not a
Yeah.
priority for me. And so I had a little bit of a rough day yesterday and I was binging a lot of stuff all night long. And at the end of my binge, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to turn this on and ruin the rest of me, like hopefully trying to get sleep tonight. Like it's just not, it's just not, it's not for me anymore. I'm a
That's
little,
okay.
because
You
I'm so
hang tough with
spoiled
anything.
with these other shows.
Don't try to pick up the other shows. You're fine.
But I
If you
am.
want to watch it, it's
I
all
did
good. We're
hit-
gonna. What's
I
that?
can't say anything because I hit that wall with the boys a little bit last
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
And it did like look, there is a thing of diminishing returns
Yeah.
on
Oh
shock
yeah,
value.
for sure.
So I do like I totally get it. And I had that too. Like I had to separate like what I really like about the show last season for the boys specifically, not Gen V, because I really actually of the two, I think I said this like last week, but like I think enjoy Gen V more. I'm just more invested at this point in the characters, and there's enough fresh stuff in here that yes, we still get the gratuitous things, but like it's not the main course. It's still a thing, but it's not the main course. And the boys sometimes, especially particular episodes, feels like that's the front and center part. And then we get a little bit of story. And then we get a little bit of this, but like we're gonna shock you and like, hey, we're gonna do something crazy. That becomes the focal point. To me, that loses the plot. And this still feels like, hey, we have those moments because we are part of the boys universe, but like there's still more stuff here that I can jump into and ever. And no, fresh stuff. It's not with that man. It's not with that man. Pause.
Yo, in Brywood, I'm sorry, I disagree. I hard disagree. When that shot happened, all I heard was that scene from Star Wars: A New Hope, where it was like, "That's no moon," and you hear the ominous music, and you see the Death Star kind of shadow roll in. Yeah, I don't need to do that again.
Rolling.
Yeah, Janelle, you dodged a bullet. That's what I want to say. At least for that one scene, you dodged a real bullet.
You don't need to see that.
And shout out to the body double, whoever did that. You are a brave soul to let them photograph you from that particular angle. And if I find out that was CGI or something, I'm gonna smash my head into a desk. If somebody like, could you imagine coding that? Like what? Anyway, moving right along. So Gen V is still happening. Matt, you got some things to talk about from The Witcher.
I just want to give a shout out because it's been Witcher week, and it's been nice here. We got a new clip, kind of a first look at Liam Hemsworth as Geralt in kind of a full action scene, but also the rollout has started because the show comes back for season 4 on October 30th, and so now we're starting to get way more details and new photos and things like that. Previously we'd only had set stuff, and the biggest thing here, like Liam kind of did this full interview talking about like opening up about the Geralt jumping into that, taking over for Henry Cavill, all that stuff, and it's really interesting reads. But also we're getting a lot of first looks at the Hansa, which is kind of like this group of kind of this loyal party that Geralt forms in season 4, and it's going to have like a lot of favorites, including the debut of Lawrence Fishburne's Regis, who is a vampire and is awesome. So one of the coolest characters. I'm so excited we actually get to see him on the screen. I'm starting to get really excited for this. To kind of went into detail about like where everybody is because of where season 3 ended, and it's been a minute. But look, I like what I've seen from Liam so far. It's a very small size, obviously, and it's mostly like action, right? So that looks cool. I'm excited that it's rolling around very quickly. And maybe sometime soon we'll have impressions of the season and things like that. I'm very excited. So just wanted to touch in a little bit on The Witcher because it's been a minute and I'm very excited.
This is crazy. I did a terrible job planning the show, or it's just busy week. But yeah, we also got a Mando Grogu trailer.
Oh yeah,
that was so long ago this week that I forgot about it. Yeah, I forgot about it. It was too early in the week, man. We had a lot to do.
Oh my God, I didn't even see it. I'm gonna watch it right now.
Yeah, it's good. It was fine. Like there was nothing. It didn't even make that much hype because it was fine. It looks like a awesome episode of The Mandalorian with big budget effects, and I'm here for it. Black Rabbit's on Netflix. There's TV guys. this stuff is out of control. We can't control how much of this content we can fit into a week. But yes, Mandalorian and Grogu has a new trailer. We have Star Wars breakdowns because I spotted a little cameo in there that helps build out the universe and suggests we are headed towards that big event film. So go check that out. Yeah, and Jeremy Allen White is Zeno the Hutt, Jabba the Hutt's son in the trailer. So yeah, all right. Go check out that Mando trailer because we did also watch that, but there wasn't too much to talk about it. It was just a sizzle reel with the Mando stuff, with a lot of impressive effects and characters we know and love, like Babu Frick is back. He and Grogu go on a little mission. It's all the little cutesy, awesome stuff you want. So go check that out. All right, let's talk comics this week and Ultimate Spider-Man. We haven't checked in with Ultimate Spider-Man in a minute, and what an issue we chose this week. Man, this series, Matt.
Ultimate Spider-Man, baby. We were recently having a discussion in the comic book forums about Ultimate Spider-Man. And this one we are talking about Ultimate Spider-Man number 21, by the way, specifically. But we're gonna have a conversation about like whether or not this series has fallen off a little bit since the beginning. And I was very much in the no. It's not. It's still one of my favorite books, and issues like this I feel like are a perfect embodiment of why, because this whole book primarily, actually I don't think he shows up at all. Spider-Man doesn't show up at all in this. I don't think he's in this one bit. I don't think he's in one page of this book. And
no, there's one panel. Yeah,
is there one panel? Okay,
so, and I can't tell if it was a fantasy or a reality, like where they're talking about at the end where he's talking about what he's going to do to all these people once he gets the info, and you see Spider-Man and Venom in one panel. There's like one single panel. Yeah.
I'm in hard disagreement with the comments. I love these detours as they were into the other characters. And Mr. Negative, I really enjoyed this, but also how it then weaves right back into the main story, and then we get a big reveal at the end that like is going to have sizable impact on everybody, whether they even understand why or not, moving into those last few issues. So like now what I will say is also Brightwood, I think the Absolute Universe surpassed the Ultimate Universe long time ago. So that's not new for me. I was like, nah, that's Ultimate has its great moments and great books, but like as a whole, it's not, to me, it's not even close. Like there's just so much going on in the Absolute Universe that's killing it right now. But yeah, I really enjoyed this issue, and again, I think it sets the table for a very interesting next few issues as well. But that's just me. I know I could be in the minority. What do you?
Is the chat right? Is this series ending in 3 issues?
The book is, let me double check on when exactly it ends. Hold on.
I felt like this one was like a multi-year or something. Look, I think Ultimate Spider-Man has done a good job. It is this book that has repeatedly kind of pulled the rug out
24.
from under us.
Yeah.
Was that
24? So
3 issues left?
Yeah, Ultimate
25?
Spider-Man is the final issue of Hickman's run, and then that goes into Ultimate Endgame.
Okay. Anyway, so I think it's done a good job because we had this basic structure, right? It was Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six, Kingpin 6, or whatever you want to call it, with Harry and Gwen thrown in the middle. And Mr. Negative was the one factor we haven't seen in this. Like we've met everybody else in the syndicate. We met Mole Man, Craven, Black Cat, all that stuff, but he was the quiet one we didn't know about. I think this issue, like some of the other issues, like the Mysterio reveal issue, did a good job of tying all these loose strands together, from like who Mr. Negative is to who that final Mysterio we weren't asking questions about, the female one, and then that reveal and all of that. I kind of like that. I liked hearing this version of Mr. Negative's origin, but still very much being Mr. Negative. And yeah, I think it sets up that secret and that particular person, Wesley, getting exposed now throws everything into a kind of high stakes end game, so to speak, because this is the car crash we've been avoiding this whole time. Like, what happens when, the target is squarely set on Peter and everybody he cares about? And so we didn't think it would be Mr. Negative who kind of set this all in motion, but that's a twist for you. So here we go. And I think where this ends now, we are starting to kind of clear the board. And so I could see how there's a 3-issue run to the end of this where it's just, can Spider-Man beat Kingpin or not? And we'll see.
Janelle?
I don't know if you want to hear from me.
Yes.
I don't know what the heck just happened in this book. I can't even remember what led to these events. I'm so confused. Like, it's just not standing out the way that my, DC side of the reads have been going. And so I personally I don't even know how we got here. I'm starting to second guess myself. Did I miss a book or something? And that's just me. I'm just not as engaged in this, especially when I have an absolute Wonder Woman in the same week. And there's just a lot going on that I don't understand. I truly, as I was reading,
it's jumped around a whole lot.
Like
we've changed focuses. The last few issues have been erratic because we've left Peter and MJ. We've been like on these other side quests through Black Cat,
the Craven
and, the villains.
thing.
But that's kind of where we left Peter. That was about the point where we jumped off Peter. Yeah, like whatever happened after that, like we've been following Harry, we followed Gwen, we followed Black Cat and Harry's and Peter's son, and that whole thing, and then like we've gone through all these other characters.
Yeah,
but like we haven't been with Peter in a long.
I feel like if I did it all the way through, it would have gelled better in my mind. But I'm getting with the time gaps of reading between each one, I'm missing, like I'm not connecting it all together. It's probably mom brain, but yeah, for some reason it's just not clicking for me.
No, it's not just you. It started to get a little more erratic. It was pretty tight. It was tight on Peter at the beginning, and then we've kind of gone all over the place.
Yeah, which doesn't help when you are taking those breaks in between and so many other things are going. By the way, you mentioned Absolute Wonder Woman. You wanna shout out that for a minute?
See, I'm the opposite. I'm off this book.
So I'm like so into it.
Yeah,
oh my god! Go on. Wait,
it's
Kofi,
my first.
You have to dish.
My first absolute book that I'm on.
Oh, boo!
Tell me why.
I just didn't. I haven't liked this particular story arc. When it got into the Minotaur, I started to fall off, and like I just haven't liked this story arc as a follow up. I thought the first one was so strong, and even the little second mini arc I think we got before we got into this one was good. But yeah, this is the one I've fallen off of. So we're opposites.
Man,
I think it's like stylistically so me. Like I love like the lore and the spirituality, and I love the way that she speaks, and like I don't know, I love all that stuff. It's like magical and like goddesses, and it's just got all that stuff. And yeah, aren't they introducing Zatanna? Isn't that how they ended it? So that also has me very excited because that is someone that I really want to get to know. And I'm probably going to get to know not the typical version, because in these absolute books, these are not
the typical
yeah, this is like a different version of Zatanna, but I'm very excited about it. I hope I'm saying the name right.
Zatanna, yeah. Some say Zatanna, some say Zatanna.
Okay.
Tomato,
Zatanna, tomato, potato, potato.
No, it's just really, really beautiful. And it's just noble, and it's got that hopefulness that I need in my life right now. And that's what I really like about, Absolute Wonder Woman.
I will say Absolute Wonder Woman, Kelly Thompson has done a good job of making this Diana feel much more womanly and mature than the main universe counterpart, which is not to say anything bad about that Diana, but this one's like much more self-confident. She knows that she's the bad bee when she walks in the room, but she's still nice to everybody. Yeah. That's the most dangerous kind of woman. The woman who knows she's a bad bee, but is still nice to everybody when she comes in the room. And has
also,
like,
this is
unstoppable.
I've really enjoyed points of Tom King's run in the main Wonder Woman book. I am
also fallen off.
I am not really enjoying this last arc of that book. And,
also fallen.
Yeah. So the fact that I have this to kind of, like it in
Yeah, no, it
contrast.
balances out.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
like,
just
oh, this
saying,
is great.
I want to be clear. My context is in my comment is in the context of absolute books, which are still absolutely better than the main universe books. But main universe books have been popping. As somebody pointed out, Justice League Unlimited is good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Superman is good.
Yep.
So yeah.
Even
Mice have
I mean
ears.
Batman just relaunched and is fantastic. I mean there's a couple of spin-offs right now of just the main Justice League book that are also good. Like there's a lot happening. It's to me it's different than Marvel's situation right now. But I still the absolute universe is like this shining gem over here. And I will say I am very excited for Zatanna to jump in. I hope this is at some point we get the full Justice League Dark crew.
Yeah.
This would be amazing.
An absolute
Oh my gosh.
JLD would be
Like a
sick.
Constantine is gonna
Yeah.
be nuts whenever that hits.
I hope Martian Manhunter would be part of it. He would fit
Yeah.
in and make this like, yeah, there's ways to tie this together.
Okay,
yeah, and we
so
all know
wait.
what Tom King is doing with this arc. The mice have ears. Like we know what it is. The cult speak. We get it.
It's
just
so
it's
hard
not
to
fun
read,
to
though.
read.
It's
Yeah,
so not fun to
read.
read. I have read 3 issues now of Mice. What is it? I
Mice
think I
have
wrote
ears.
it in the review. Yeah, Mice have ears, and then there's another one. It's oh my god, I forget what the other phrase is, but there's 2 phrases that they alternate between. And oh my gosh, reading that 3 months in a row is like, I'm good. I got it. We need to move on. Luckily, we did get movement in that, and I am excited for what's coming next. Like they introduced a new villain, and that's really cool. And I hope we move on from this very soon. But like, I will say another book. So Absolute Wonder Woman, awesome. I loved it. I've really enjoyed this run. Kelly Thompson. I was sad that we also learned that her Birds of Prey run is coming to an end, and that has been fantastic too. But I'm glad we're still on Absolute Wonder Woman for a while yet. I will say, did anyone else read Skinbreaker?
I did not.
Okay. Did I?
Yes, sir. Present.
Okay. I am super. We had talked a bit about this book when it first got announced because, hey, anytime you pair Robert Kirkman and David Finch, that's going to be something that generates a lot of discussion. Those are 2 big name creators. And also, we don't get to see David Finch do monthly artwork on a lot of books. So, like, it's a big deal when it does happen. This book is like, obviously this is Image Comics, not related to the big 2 or anything. This is telling a story of a tribe that they kind of have this ritual that decides, number one, skin breaking, which is where it gets its name, is a ritual that they have for kind of the next generation. So their kids have to have this ritual done, and they essentially shed their top layer of skin, and it's kind of this coming of age thing. And then there's also the sword that ties into that. And then there's this whole thing of leadership of the tribe. And you have a son kind of trying to protect his father, who is this older, aging chieftain, and you have this other group of people who want to take over, and there's all this stuff that happens. But just on visuals alone, this book is stunning. This book is like, I don't know, David Finch was just on something. True, this is crazy. Like, there's so much, and it looks so different and unique, and the creatures look so, I don't know. I just came away from this. I didn't know what to expect coming in, and I was really glad I gave this a shot. Now I could be in the minority. Janelle, what did you think of this?
Well, first of all, it's the detailed artwork is just spectacular. Truly, I don't even know gorgeous is the right word. It's just stunning. It's wild. I do feel that it was extremely predictable.
Right.
But I'm not mad at that. Like I enjoyed it. Obviously the son storyline really like tugged at my heartstrings. And I'm so glad that they kind of gave me hope that like something good can happen in the last part, because I was worried that the challenge would happen and it would be with the wrong person. So at least I know we're going somewhere. But then again, where are we going to go with that? Like when he took his newborn and tried to like break the skin, like that messed me up.
Yeah, I can see that.
But overall, I would say just something refreshing, different, completely different than what we've been reading, and really digging that. It's very Avatar, which is fun.
Yeah. But man,
Oh,
you and
speaking of which,
Brightwood.
we got that trailer too. This
Oh
week.
my
Wait, we
gosh.
did? Oh
Yeah,
my
Fire and
gosh.
Ash. We got a new Fire and Ash for
Yeah, I
Avatar
totally
3
missed that
trailer.
one.
Hey, we're on top of it.
Eh, I
Is it
totally
terrible
missed
I'm
that one,
over
by the way.
Avatar?
Nobody's over it. Everybody's over Avatar until Avatar comes out. Then we're all into Avatar, and then as soon as it's out of theaters,
True.
we're over Avatar. And
Very
that's the
true.
way it goes. Yeah. I'm taking my kid to see it in 3D for the first time. He's gonna
That's
be
the
blown
way
away.
love goes.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
Matt,
yes.
why don't we get into the final thing this week?
Oh man.
The
big-
third and final thing we forgot about this week.
Yes. Sony State of Play. There was some really great games. It was a pretty good lineup of games, stuff that I didn't know about much or have much experience with, and other stuff kind of sprinkled in, crossovers like Mega Man and Sonic being in there, Saros getting a big spotlight. But the big one that everyone was hoping would show up finally did. Insomniac's Wolverine finally made its big debut. We'd had a very brief teaser, right? But it was just like Logan at a bar. This we actually got from the very moment it started. This just brought the pain. My goodness, they are going for that rating. They are not shying away from the gruesomeness. Wolverine is going to be every bit the lethal Avenger, X-Man, all the things he's been throughout this whole game that you've come to expect. They really and they did a whole breakdown after the trailer hit about kind of their aims for this. But I mean, really, all you got to do is watch the trailer to get a sense of what they're going for. This feels like classic Logan. This looks like, for those who remember Wolverine Origins, that movie sucked, but the game was actually pretty good. And now we're getting a new modern version of that taken to 11. They are some of the, like, that animation alone, for those who are watching the live show, there's a spot where he puts the claws through someone's chin and the claws pop up, right? Kind of that classic we've seen it in the comics before, but they really brought that to life. We get Omega Red in here. Mystique makes a big cameo later on. This really feels like, what Insomniac did for Spider-Man really seems like they're on a good track to do for Wolverine. Even before Spider-Man hit from Insomniac, we'd had good Spider-Man games, but I feel like a lot of people will say that, Insomniac Spider-Man is kind of at the top, or at least towards the top of their list. Wolverine has had some good games as well. He actually had a pretty fun game on the Genesis way back when, and he had X-Men Origins Wolverine, but Insomniac's looking to kind of take that title and really bring that to life here in a way that has not been done before. I'm very excited. I mean, obviously, if you get Omega Red and Mystique, if we're going through some of the greatest hits here, do we get Sabretooth? Do we get Cyber?
Oh, yeah.
There's Silver Samurai. There's a couple of other villains that obviously we want to see, and especially in this style. I also love that at this point, like, half this is the classic blue and yellow, and then also just like Logan in his normal shirt and jeans, which just feels like pretty apt. There have been some questions about like open worldness and like how you're going to travel, because obviously he can't web swing, right? So the motorcycle being kind of key in here. Some are kind of speculating that maybe that's how we're going to get around kind of the bigger parts of the city. There was some leaked footage a while back that showed him kind of moving across rooftops and things like that. It's been a long time since that footage came out. Don't even know if that was, how old that was, or if that was even legit. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But so still some questions, but man, what a debut.
I think it'll be more from the sequences I'm seeing. I feel like we'll do more Uncharted type stuff, where you have to do like button hitting sequences and stuff to make Logan do like crazy traversing things, like jump, slide down a thing with the claws, jump, grab another thing. We see some of those acrobatics in here. But yeah, I said on Twitter in our forums when we were discussing this, like, Insomniac is going to do with this game what it did for Spider-Man, what Arkham did for Batman, making you feel like you are actually this hero you admire. My thing is looking at this, by the end of this, I'm not going to be sure I'm happy about Logan in his life. Like, I'm not sure being Logan is going to feel great to me. Like, after I've eviscerated like 1,000 people in a bloody mess, like I'm not sure I'm going to feel great about all that. Like, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like, there's going to be like how people react to all this is going to be interesting. I think we're making a few more sociopaths after this one. They're going to be like, oh yeah, I don't care about cutting somebody up a million times. Like, it's fun. Yeah, but yeah, it's going to be different kind of experience. I think if they do the story right, like you will, like even the game will make you reflect on the level of violence and what that means to Logan. And like, you know, it hopefully isn't like glorious. It's deals with the trauma and kind of Logan's kind of tortured existence as this killer and, you know, being the ultimate, you know, murderer essentially. So I hope that part of it translates well, because they've definitely gone gratuitous with the level of violence we're going to be doing here. So yeah, but I mean, for game mechanics, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it's hitting in 2026.
Yep.
So
All
that's
right.
huge. Like, you know, we'll get, man, so we're going to get GTA and Wolverine in the same year. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's gonna be crazy. This year feels like it's been an off year for gaming, but I feel like next year we're gonna be so back. It's gonna be crazy. All right.
Said it.
Yep. Yes,
Said
I
the
did.
word.
I worked it in. All right, that'll do it for Comic Book Nation. We want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Be sure to go and check out some of this content on the screen. Go to the movies, fire up your TV, or fire up Global Comics and read some comics. As we said, there is a large library on there with a bunch of your favorite publishers. So pick out a book, get a gold membership, and get to readings. Matt and Janelle, thank you for joining me today. It's been a week. But we are here, and we are grateful to be here with the live chat. Thank you for all our regular fans, as always, for waking up with us and doing this. Shout out to everybody over on YouTube, John Smith, Zach G, Juden Foster. Shout out Brywood. Shout out to everybody all over the Twitchverse, Adio, and Janelle's whole squad who shows up, Demon of Nine, everybody. And shout out to all of y'all over. Oh, is there anybody on the Facebook? Yeah, we had a couple people on the Facebook, so shout out to our Facebook crew as well. All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to enjoy the weekend. We will see you guys next week when it's time to officially start getting spooky. Next week will be October the 3rd. Yeah, we will be in like Flynn. It's time. So if this was, I mean, although this wasn't a lighthearted week, I mean,
yeah, seriously.
All right, we are Comic Book Nation. We are getting out of here. Peace.
This is.
Bye.